Hi, welcome back to Raised to Obey. Yvonne here.
Hi, Jennifer.
And we are going to try to work on episode
13. Did we just do 12?
13. Oh my God, yeah, you're right.
We did just do 12,
yeah, we did
right?
just do 12.
We already, Yvonne's like, what? Because she looked at me and I'm like, yeah, right? Don't make me second guess myself. Yeah, we have a piece of paper here, and it's kind of like, what do we want to talk about now? Because not like we're gonna run out of ideas to talk about anything, but just kind of like what we want to talk about. I mean, so here some stuff we already have like touched ground on: confusion around sexuality, religious guilt about the body, reclaiming
Autonomy.
Thank you.
Fiction.
So I was thinking maybe we're gonna go a little bit into like yeah, okay. My like we already touched up a couple. I mean, we could go a little bit on these like the family image, religious obedience, and family image.
Right, like I was being told what are the neighbors going to say? What are what are the townspeople going to think?
So I feel like by me telling my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because that goes into here, we talked about this, why we don't tell for years, and that was the fear of not being believed. That was mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pressure to protect the family reputation, and like you staying silent because you were scared to get punished for something that it wasn't even your fault.
Yeah, I mean, this ties into, it says religious pressure to stay silent. No. And that was also part of mine because, like I told you, I mean, we heard every Saturday, we were in church, that we were all sinners and we were going to hell. And, in my mind, he was talking to me. Like he somehow knew, and he's talking to me. And so, that was also not only the being afraid to tell my parents for fear of punishment, but also being afraid to admit it because I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to burn in eternal hellfire, which is what they always preached at the time.
But so like I didn't know at the time when I told my mom. I was like 8 or 9, but like years later, like thinking one of the reasons why my mom like didn't say anything and kept it quiet is for fear of what would other people think.
Right.
The neighbors. We lived in a cul-de-sac. I'm not even sure I've said this before. And
you often lived in a cul-de-sac, didn't you?
We lived in a cul-de-sac very often.
Yeah.
Yes. In Texas, in California.
That's interesting.
When we went back to Iowa, it wasn't quite a cul-de-sac, but it was like an in street. Like it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a. I just like realizing this later in life. The reason why is like I think we've talked about this on a couple other episodes. Just like the image, like. My parents would fight, and then we go to somebody's house, and they'd act like
right,
all lovey-dovey with each other, and like you wouldn't.
Yeah, there was always like this happy family image that was portrayed to the outside, right? And it didn't matter what happened behind closed doors, but once you left the house, everybody was supposed to be like happy-go-lucky. And I think that's one of the reasons. Like, I remember my mom often saying, you have to be like a clown no matter what's happening on the inside. You have to smile on the outside. And I hate clowns. I hate clowns.
I don't like them.
Because of that. And I hate when someone expects me to be like all happy-go-lucky and I'm not. Like, I'm just not feeling
Smile.
it, I don't like this, the fakeness of it all, and I now realize that it all comes back to our childhood when we were always being told to, no matter what just happened, as soon as we walk outside, smile and, everything's fine. And, don't, tell anybody what's going on inside. the family itself, you know. Yeah, so I saw that also, like, when my mom finally found out about my abuse, because I told you she found out, like, I was already an adult, I already had my own child. I had already started having panic attacks because of what had happened to me. And when she found out and asked me about it, and I told her, yes, this happened, and she asked, when was this? And, you know, so I told her, and I told you before, like, she thought, she said she noticed a difference, but she thought it was because of the surgery that she had had, and everybody said she was going to die, and so that's why when she came back, I was a changed child. But even after all this happening, and we had a couple of discussions about it, like when I was back at home in Texas, because she had seen him or she had mentioned him, or, you know, and I've had on, I know, 2 different occasions. I remember we were standing in her bedroom and me talking to her about it and asking her why she still has any kind of relationship with this person. How could she have a relationship with this person, right? And I think I've told you before, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but her response was always, he's my brother. And I was like, yeah, but I'm your child. And she had like no response, you know? So it went back again to, what were the people gonna say? You know what I mean? Like, if she all of a sudden like stopped having contact with him, or didn't say hi when she saw him, you know, or like he would say hi and she would like just leave him standing there, people would be like, oh my god, did you see that? What's going on? What's going on? You know what I mean? So like the whole family is just like gonna cover it up, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's like it wasn't just back then, it's still going on today. You know what I mean? And that was one of the reasons that I decided to draw a boundary with my mom, you know. And my words to her were, I felt like she betrayed me, not as a child, but later in my adult life when she found out about it. Because when I was a child, I mean, we can argue the point back and forth. She should have noticed there were signs. Yeah, she should have, but she didn't, you know, for whatever reason. But when she found about it later in my adult life, I would have expected, being a parent myself, that would have been the point where she would have said, I'm not having any contact with you because blah, 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 you know? And she didn't. So my words to her were, I feel like you betrayed me more than once, because, you know, we had this conversation more than once, and I am no longer willing to deal with this, you know. I didn't, you know, totally cut her off and send her to hell, but I made it very clear that I do not want to hear anything about this person or have anything to do with you like on a daily basis, as long as you're still seeing this person. I didn't tell her this, but I did tell this with my siblings and talking to them later. I feel like my mom chose her brother over me. And maybe because it's easier, because I'm so far away and he lives like a 40-acre field behind her. But I'm still her child. So she chose him, and I'm okay with that. It's not that it's been easy to accept. I mean, if I like sit down and really think about it, I'm gonna start crying. But I guess I should say I'm learning to be okay with that. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't matter if it's your mom or your friend or your husband or whoever. If somebody doesn't want to be with you anymore, or somebody thinks that you're not worthy enough for them to be there for, then why should I stick around for the party? You know what I mean? Like, I think it goes back to what you said in the last episode, like you're just going along to get along. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to raise any ruckus. You don't want to say, hey, no, I'd rather do this. You know, you just kind of like go along just to, you know, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm done.
This is like, so I liked it. This one where I kind of think a generational trauma.
Right.
Because we get that, like we get that from our ancestors, the trauma that goes through the line. Like my great grandma, my grandma, my mom, to where like when I was like, no, that stops here. That stops with me.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that to my children. Like I'm not going to use negative reinforcement. I'm not going to punish them. I'm not going to make them kneel on the fucking floor. I'm not going to make them... Oh. Did you ever get your mouth washed out with soap? For saying like maybe...
I know my mom threatened it often, but I cannot remember. I don't know if that's a memory that I like blocked out because it actually happened. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say, but I know my mom threatened it often.
Like, what the fuck is that? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but, like,
I don't
watch
know.
it. Like, so it's like
so like today we're like, you know, putting warning labels on laundry detergent so kids don't swallow this shit. But our parents were washing our mouths out with soap, literally. Like, make it make sense, right?
I just said, I'll tell you though, it doesn't taste good.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
It still didn't stop me from saying cuss words.
Right.
Like that's what. So like. And even like, you know, Cesar Milan, and he does like, he's the dog
right,
whisperer.
the dog whisperer.
And he never uses negative reinforcement on dogs. He's always using positive reinforcement, and like then the dogs get it. The dogs are learning. Like,
right.
And it's just like, wouldn't you think at some point in time that the negative the grounding, the phone,
yeah, taking your phone
privileges. Washing your mouth out with soap, kneeling on the floor, like, oh gosh, getting spanked,
yeah,
like
standing in the corner.
There you go. Like anything like that, and it never helped. It's because I still did it.
Right.
Like maybe you should do the fucking opposite and be like, hey, if you behave, you will get a fucking chocolate.
I'll take you to Dairy Queen.
Exactly. Like, see how that works.
Right.
It was like, seriously, like I never got that. Like when I was becoming like a teenager and getting older, I was like, why are you fucking stupid? Like why would you just like and it was just because I said so.
Right.
Well, and I know my daughter, like this is one of the things that I hated it more than anything, when you would ask your mom a legitimate reason of why you can't stay at your friend's house on a school night. Yeah, because I said so.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? I said so. Like, that's just like...
Instead of like explaining because you have to get up in the morning or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but even then, because they don't want it, because like in the end, like my daughter will like legitimately, like I don't literally, like I've been in conversations where I'm like, dude, I feel like a deja vu, because I'd have the same conversation with my mom and she'd be like, yeah, but you know, and so I let her stay at her friend's house on a school night. She came home the next day. She's tired as fuck. And she's like, I don't think I want to do that again. She realized from herself, if she was over there, they didn't go to bed on time. They, you know.
Yeah, they stayed up late.
And messed around. You know. And then she had to go to school, get up and go to school the next day. She came home and she said, yeah, I don't think I really want to do that. Like she learned from her own experience that that's not actually a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I was like, I told my mom too, I'm gonna let my kids stay over that friend's house if they want during the school night, and I let her, and she you know had her own experience and realized maybe it isn't the best idea to stay up until 2:00 in the morning. You have to get up at 6:00 go to school the next day, and you have to go to all your classes, and you're just like a kind of like a zombie.
Yeah, like dragon, right?
But like it just never like why. They keep doing the negative reinforcement. They keep grounding you. They keep giving you like taking your phone privileges away, or you know this or that, whatever the hell they did, and it's never worked. But they still kept doing it,
right?
Cause like, god damn it, I'm the parent, and this has gotta fucking work. You know, like think. So that's for me. It was like breaking the generational trauma, like that cycle of like. I'm not going to do the same thing, and that's why I know, and I have said this in other podcasts, like I wanted to understand my daughter, my youngest daughter, like why is she like this? What is going on with her? Like I'm not punishing her wasn't getting, you know, I wasn't doing it, and it wasn't doing it with me either. So I'm like, you know, wait a minute, click here, you know, like what can I do differently here? And like, you know, I'm trying to understand her, where she caught me from, what's her deal, why she do this when she's acting out. There's a reason why. she doesn't just do it because she feels like it.
Right.
You know, there's a reason behind her acting out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when she didn't, we went to therapy and figured it out. And when I knew when something happened and it was going like this, I would be like, what's going on? And then I'd be like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, come on, girl, let's go do like sit down and play anything with her. I don't know, you know. And she was happy. She wanted my attention. Or, you know, there was a couple other things of why, you know, she acted out. And remember, I said I couldn't remember like the reason. Like I remember that one time when I was like, "What's the word? What's the word?"
Yeah.
That's it. Like I fucking had it. Now I don't have it again. And she felt like she felt like unjust, just like
invisible.
No, like unjust.
Okay.
Like, so it's always like I'm listening to a podcast, and this guy he goes to the school and he tells the school, I can tell you the 20 kids who are going to excel in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, oh yeah, cool. Who's it going to be? And he gives them 20 names. And he comes back in a year, and they're like, yeah, that's right. You know, like they excelled. How did you know that? And he's like,
oh, okay, I'm going to interrupt you here, but I think I know the answer. So because he gave them these 20 names, the school made sure that these 20 students were like constantly being, I know the word you're looking for. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were being.
Or if they were having problems, they'd be like, "Oh, come, let's try this, let's work this, let's." But in the end, then they were like, "Well, how did you know that?" And he's like, "I just gave you 20 random names."
Right.
And it's because these teachers saw the potential.
Right.
Like these kids were supposed to excel. These kids are,
right.
That they believed. They had this belief in these 20 students. That these 20 students.
So these 20 students got like extra care, if you will.
And so that's because they had the belief in these students. Mm-hmm. Like that was their mindset,
right,
to these students.
Right.
And of course, all the others, not that the other students didn't do well, but like,
they probably just didn't get all the special treatment from the teachers that like after school, let me help you out, or you know, you have a problem, come talk to me.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
I get that.
That's like if you also are, I know when you're in school and you have that kid is always smart ass, that kid's a class clown, that kid's this, that kid's that. You get a label put on you.
Yeah, definitely.
And so for my daughter, it was always like she was a smart mouth. Like she stood up, she said shit, she opened her mouth, and she's like, that's not fair. She felt it wasn't fair. She wasn't being properly, like she wasn't, like
it was unjust.
Yeah. And they would always, if something happened, they would always go right to Runa. Like they would be like, and she's like, I didn't even do anything. I wasn't even on the fuck playground, you know. Like she would, and she would not raise her voice, but she would. And she would get in trouble all the time because she spoke.
Because she was sticking up for herself.
She was sticking up for herself. She would get so mad, and she would just literally, she would be like really rude to the people in the daycare. It was after school daycare program, and she would say like mean things, and I'm like, yeah, like you know, you can't say that, you know, like, but like because she was labeled as a troublemaker, so to say,
right.
That anytime anything ever happened, they went to Runa, and Runa, she couldn't even been in school on that day because she was sick, but there was Runa. You know what I mean? Right. And that's why when you put a label on somebody as being rebellious, as being a class clown, as being the shit talker or whatever, when you put that label on somebody, they start to believe that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I am a class clown, or I'm always in trouble. I'm a troublemaker. Yeah. And then they like kind of maybe even get into that role.
Right.
I'm the troublemaker.
Right.
Like it's like so. If I don't even have like a belief in my kid that they can do school, like how many times I've heard parents be like, no, you can't do that. Wait, no, you can't do that. Right. Wait, let me do that. Hold on, let me cut that for you. You're gonna cut your fucking finger off.
Right.
Oh my God, you can't do that. Oh my God, you're gonna fall down and break your arm. You know, like when you're going through life feeling like, oh gosh, I can't even like balance on a wall because I'm gonna fall down and break my arm because my mom always says that. And you're never gonna like try to like balance yourself on a wall and walk, or you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Or
Yeah, I mean, I think I've told you about this before. One of the books I read while I was pregnant is What to Expect While You're Expecting, or something like that.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I read
think
that.
everybody reads
I
that book.
know everybody. And then you read like What to Expect from age 1 to 5 or something, right? But one of the things that I read in that book that I always think about is, so she was the author was talking about how parents teach children to lie.
Well, we were taught at the youngest age, what? Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy.
Well, not only that, but so I was like, wait, how do parents teach us how to lie? So the author gives example. The child's in the kitchen, finds a sack of flour, is playing with the sack of flour. Sack of flour falls on the floor, and what happens with flour? Poof, right? And you walk in and you see this child with flour everywhere, and you don't ask the child, how did this happen, or why did you do that? You ask, who did this? And the child at a very young age thinks,
it wasn't me.
Well, she's stupid. She don't know it was me. And the child will be like, I don't know.
It wasn't me.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And so we teach them from this very young age to start lying to us. You know, instead of asking,
but also in the,
you know, like you have to ask the right questions. You know, don't ask questions and set them up where they can be like, it was the Christmas, what do you call it? The Santa Claus, or you know, the Easter Bunny, or you know, whatever, right?
It was who did it and not me, like ghosts. You
know?
Like,
exactly.
It's
my invisible friend.
They lived at my house a lot because of course I never even thought about it like that. But like also in that of asking who did it. Who's gonna confess? Because you think in the end, I'm gonna get my ass chewed out. Exactly. I'm gonna get a spanking.
Right. And even as a little kid has, I don't know if it's ingrained in us as little children, but we know enough not to get in trouble with our parents. Mm-hmm. You know, like even if you're at a small enough age, because we start right away with what's one of the first things you say to your child when they start walking? No. Don't touch that.
Don't touch
No, don't touch it.
I was going to say sit down and shut up. That's fine.
But, you know, like instead of redirecting the child, you know, to things that they can do, right? No, don't touch it. Stay away. You're going to get hurt. You know, like you were saying, you know, you know, whatever it is, right? Yeah. So we ingrain in them from a very early stage, you know, very negative things. You know, there's not positive reinforcement, you know what I mean? Until you start potty training them. And then you're like, you know? But it's too late.
And then they don't want to flush. They don't even want to do it because they don't want to flush down their caca because you were so proud that they made caca that they have to flush it. Why do I have to flush it down their toilet now? I'm so sad. Like, I'm like, okay, please don't. Like, I'm not going to let it float around in the float.
Right, yeah, because it'll sneak later, whatever.
So, another thing also, and I mean, it's just a glass of water or soda or whatever, juice, and it spills. And you freak the fuck out on your kid. Oh my God! Like, would you... So I heard this, or somebody told me this. You have company and they come over and they spill a glass of water. Do you freak out on them?
No.
Do you go, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. Go to your room. And like freak out? No, you stand up and you're like, oh, that was just an accident. That happens. Let's clean it up.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
And you don't talk about it again.
And like, so in you doing that and freaking out, and the kid does spill something, but you're not there and you don't see it, and they weren't going to say anything because they know the last time you said they freaked the fuck out, you had to go in your room, you got punished. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you come in and you see it or something. And
you're like, who did that?
Yeah, but like, maybe it's been sitting there for a while. You don't know,
right?
You know, but like it I was like, oh my God, like you know when your light bulb goes off on the top of your head and you're like, oh wow, yeah, okay, like, so maybe you teach them then. Oh no, that's just an accident. It happens. It's just a chair we can buy. You know, it's just material things. It doesn't. It's like then if like. Teach them to pick it up. Say it's just an accident. Let's get some paper towel. Let's clean it up. Mm-hmm. Everything's good again. Right. Because that's what you would do with a guest at your house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're like right. But like I said, like when company would come over and they're like, yeah, you need to clean your room. We're having a barbecue. You're like, is the grill here in my room? I'm like, people are really gonna come over and open my door and like, I mean, okay, maybe if they had kids and they want to come over and play, make that make sense. So I'm gonna clean my room for kids to come over and make it dirty again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like it's for like things that don't make sense,
Mm-hmm.
but like instead of like teaching our kids they can't do things like you can't that's too complicated, you can't do that, or you're not good at math, or boys are better at that than girls, and like there's something that they do learn from a young age. You're getting a label put on them like, oh, I know your brother's better at math than you are. So who thought they weren't good at math until like even today, I'm like, yeah, I fucking suck at math. Like I literally suck at math.
Like we talked about 2 episodes ago about my mom telling me that I was stupid when I was in the 4th grade, It's the same thing. I'm stupid. And I will still to this day, I mean, I said to this day, I still get irritated, or I still get freaked out when somebody tells me that. But if something happens and like I can't figure it out, my first thing that I say, and I know I need to change this, we talked about in that last episode about manifesting. Yeah, I can't do it, I'm stupid. And my husband will often say, you're not stupid, you just, need to figure it out or learn how to do it or whatever. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm stupid, you do it.
But and that's one of the things is too. So we talk negative talk. We were talking in the last podcast, in the last episode, in the last podcast. That's negative talk. Like I'm stupid. Instead of saying I'm stupid, be like, oh, I haven't learned that yet.
Right.
Like I'm not there yet. I am still learning this.
Right. Or I need to learn how to do this, or.
And that's but it doesn't matter when anything comes to math and they're like, do this in your head. I was like, fuck that shit.
I know. I'm like,
where's
no,
my
man, I'm
calculator?
American. I need a calculator.
I do, because it's just like but then there was things that were. My brother was told, oh, she's better at that than you are. And I'm pretty sure maybe he thinks that he's not good at, I don't know, reading English or whatever it is, because he was always good at math. And I was better at language. And then you see that in your report card when you get it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, math, I got a fucking 4 or a D.
Right.
But look, in English literature, I got a A because my parents told me I could read, I could do English literature, but math wasn't my strong suit. So you see that in your report card. You see that in school because you don't want to even try, because why should I even try? I'm bad at math anyway.
Right.
Maybe I didn't have the right teacher. Math made me so frustrated. Like I remember in the 8th grade, I think we were learning algebra, and I freaking frustrated as hell because I just couldn't get it. My teacher was there and she was trying. I know she was trying her hardest. She was a really nice teacher, and I just freaked out. I don't get it, and I was so frustrated. I started crying and I got up and left because I just frustrated the hell out of me because I always thought I was bad at math.
Right.
So, I mean, like I said, I still think that to this day. And I'm like, you know what they used to say to us in school? Like, you're going to be carrying a calculator around in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Well, we have
jokes on you.
Yeah. So we have smartphones today, you know. So we actually do have a calculator in our back pocket, which I'm super happy for.
Me too, girl. Me too. If I don't have my phone within reach and my husband's around, because he is really good at doing math, and I'll be like, babe, what's 563 divided by 74? And he'd be like, and they'd be like, Pah. And I'd be like, no way.
So that would, for me, is really interesting. I wonder if he was told, by his parents that he was really good at math. So he always thought that. So he excelled at math, like he could do it.
I don't know.
Or if there was anything that his parents said he wasn't, good at,
I think it was maybe a combination, because the school system here pushes being able to do math in your head up until the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see, with my son, I remember my son was in the 3rd grade when they started doing more advanced math. And, they do the math a lot earlier here than we did in the States, right? And he was doing advanced math, and I would stand behind him, behind his chair. He was here on the table doing his homework, and I would stand behind his chair with a calculator in my hand because I couldn't, and he was doing the shit in his head, and I'd be like with a calculator because I couldn't do it. I never learned, or I didn't allow myself to learn, whichever it was, to do all this math in my head. I'm like, and I still to this day, like if you start spitting numbers out at me, I'll be like, wait a minute, I need a piece of paper, and I'll start writing them down because I can't see numbers in my head. If you tell me a story about, I'm just gonna make some shit up. You have a dragon, and you were dressed like a fairy, and you guys rode over the moon, and the moon was like blood red, and the sky was like purple and dark blue and indigo, and I can see that like I'm watching a movie. My imagination is, when I ask my husband, I'm like, can you imagine that? Can you see that? And he's like, no, when I close my eyes it's just black. And I'm like, like what?
So there are actually people who like, they can have a dialogue with themselves in their head.
Right.
Like they're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I'm gonna look back and forth in my head like all the time. And there's actually people who can. And I'm like, what?
I know. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Like when you close your eyes, what do you think of?
Yeah, like when you close your eyes, what do you see? And my husband's like, black. I'm like, no, my imagination just pops right off. Like I just think about like the walk that we just took, right? And I can see the cows and the trees and those two eagles that were flying, in the sky, and the hay bales the hawks, right? And I could see all that, I can like relive that,
It's one of those things that I love to do meditation, like the guided meditation I was on that was on, and they'll be like, imagine you're sitting on a shore and the waves are crashing and you're wearing I good all that down to a T, man.
Right.
Feel the wind. I'm like, like I feel it all. I get goosebumps. I'm like, ooh, it's chilly. Like I love guided meditation. Like, I can get into that like no other. Man, woo, yeah. Like it's like and I just like I'm there. And that moment I am there on that beach, watching the waves crash.
Right.
And
I think it's just like the part of us that's the creativity is more in I was gonna say Vordergrund in. Help me out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
in the front part.
Yeah,
it's maybe the more active part, if you will. Because I know I've often heard like people always say, you're either good at math or you're good at English, right? And I was always
language
languages, right? And I was always good. I was always good in English. I had straight A's. And then. I think I'm not trying to boast, but I think I'm pretty good with languages.
Well, when you almost can speak 5 languages, I think you're good at languages.
I know, I'm like, I can't speak any of them perfectly, but I can speak them.
I think you got English and Spanish down pretty good. German, are you living here? How long? I think in German. I mean, there's days where I'm like, I've never heard of that word before, but
dude, my husband did that. Here, I'm gonna go off on another tangent. So my husband did that. On the weekend, we were talking about, it was Saturday. We were in the car, and he said a word, and I was like, what do you mean by that? We were talking about soccer. And he said a word, and I was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, yeah, it's like, what do you call it in English? Like when the opponent is coming against you. And I was like, defense? And he was like, yeah, that's the word. And I was like, I swear I've never heard that word before. I was like, oh, wait a minute, because the word is Abwehr. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, you mean like Abwehrrakete, I was like, I know that word. And he was like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's just Abwehr, like defense missiles, right? I mean, of course, I would know that word and not just a regular word for defense, right? So even after, how long have I been here? 28 years? 29 years? 28 years? There's still every once in a while that he'll say a word and I'll be like, the fuck does that mean? Like, I thought I knew like every German word there was to know, and then he'll throw, and I'm not even talking about dialect, I'm talking about like regular German, right? Because dialect, I still haven't learned every word in the dialect here, and I don't think I ever will. But Yeah, so yeah, he always throws the words out there, and I'll be like, what? Yeah.
But that's just like, but where is that what you? I feel like that's what I I feel like I try not to do that with my kids, but there's also like, so both of my girls, they're 6 years apart, and I know that, and I've said this a lot, and even my daughter's like, "Oh, you're such a good mom. Like, don't think like you were a bad mom." Like, but I still feel like at the beginning, you know, with my oldest daughter, I did spank her because that's what I was taught. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's like generational trauma. But I was like, I always told my mom, I always said that I'm never gonna do that to my kids. And I was sitting there and I was like, but I'm doing it. I'm spanking her.
Right.
And I was like, no, I don't want to. I'm not gonna hit my kids anymore. And I stopped spanking them
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna.
Right.
It's breaking generational trauma. It's like, I'm not gonna stay married to my husband or my ex. I'm not gonna stay married to him for an image.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why she stayed together with my father because she was scared to tell her parents that she wanted a divorce because she was scared. You know, that image. But like, oh my gosh, what will people think?
Right.
I didn't give a fuck because I'm like, you're gonna stay in a marriage where you're not happy? No.
Right.
Because my mom was in a marriage, then she wasn't happy, and she took it out on us kids.
Right.
If she didn't want to admit that or not, she did.
Right.
Because she wasn't fucking happy. And I'm like, that's not what. I'm much happier now not being in a relationship with their father.
Right.
And can give them much more of me and positive reinforcement and showing them that this is a strong woman and this is what we do, you know, like
right.
You don't need to depend on a man to be able to survive in this world.
Right.
I can give them much more of me. When my cup is full, I can fill their cups too, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that took me a long time to you're always pouring into other people's cups. I had a friend of mine where she was like, yeah, she doesn't have a problem with doing like, if she's tired and she's like, oh, I don't need to do the housework, but I'm tired and I'm just gonna rest. Like, she doesn't have a problem doing that. She said her problem is like when she has a birthday and doing something for her. Oh no, is this too much? I'm like, oh, I don't have a problem with that at all. Like,
right.
Like, you know, but it's just like also to see like where you know, she's 2 years younger than me, so she's also in her, you know, in her mid-40s. Like, this was something that she was like taught. It's like you're not allowed to do something good for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Like
right. I totally get that because I know up until a few years ago, if I did something for me, like just me time, I always felt bad about it because yeah, it was like, you know, like I go get pedicures every once in a while, right? And even though they don't take long, where I go get a pedicure, it's still, you know, by the time I go there and come back and right, it was like an hour and a half, whatever. And I used to feel bad about it because I was like, yeah, I could have like, you know, cleaned the house or done some laundry or done the ironing or, you know, swept the front porch or, you know, like there's all, I mean, you know, you have a house, there's always something to do, right? Or in the garden, done some weed eating or, but yeah, I think it was actually last year. I went to do something for myself, and I told my husband, I was like, yeah, I know I have like a lot of housework to do, and he was like, don't worry about it. He was like, tell me what you need to do, and I'll help you on the weekend. And he does that often. Like ever since we've been together, he'll be like, you know, tell me what you need to do, and I'll help you on the weekend. I'll help you on Saturday. And at first I was like, what? Why do you want to help me? Like, you know, from my ex who was narcissistic. I know how the wife from your ex-boyfriend felt. The one that would take pictures like this wasn't clean, because I was like, so in my mind, it wasn't appreciation for the help. It was thinking, why do you want to help me? Do you want to see like where I miss something, or like it's not clean enough, or you know? So the first few times that we actually did this, he was like, do you want the bathroom or the living room? And I was like, I'll do the bathroom, because I'm like picky about the bathroom, right? And so he like, you know, took his bucket with water and a rag and whatever, and went in the living room, and like never once came in the bathroom. And I was like the whole time waiting, like he's gonna come in, or and then someone was done. And this was like in the very beginning. And then so we were done. I was like waiting for like the comment, you know, like I know I missed something somewhere, you know, and he never said anything. And so like now, even in the last few years, I've only been working part-time, so I do like the housework by myself. But like now with my surgery and stuff, you know, even from before I had surgery, he was like, if I need to help you with something, tell me and I'll do it, you know. Yeah, so that's something that I don't even know now why I went off on this tangent.
Doing something for yourself.
Oh yeah, doing something for yourself, right? And so that was, you know, he'll be like, you know, why do you feel like if I went to go get a pedicure, or I went to the tanning salon or whatever, he'd like, why do you feel bad about it? You know, if there's something that needs to be done and you don't get it done, then I'll help you on Saturday. That's always been his his words, you know, if you don't get it done and it needs to be done, then tell me and I'll help you on Saturday. You know, which that's taken me a long time, and it's still every once in a while I'm like, what, you know, like, and I'm waiting for, because you know when you're in a narcissistic relationship, and especially if you get as far as I was, where he had almost completely broken me, you're always waiting for that. I don't know what the word is. I don't know in any language what the word is. I want to say like the trap door that's gonna fall out underneath you.
Like
you know what I mean?
Shoe to drop.
Yeah, exactly. You know, because I was like always walking on eggshells, and I mean I don't walk on eggshells with my husband now, but it'll still come back every once in a while. You know. And then nothing happens, and then I'm like, and then my adult inner self, not my inner child, but my adult inner self, who lived with this narcissistic person for 15 years, is like, okay, you're with him, you're not with the asshole, you're safe here, everything's okay, you're loved. You know. She comes and tells me this. I don't tell her that. She comes and reminds me of this. You know.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So you have like that she.
Because she comes and tells me, she comes and reminds me of all the things I have now that she didn't have.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So you, I think also sorry. So it's not like we only have an inner child. We don't just have an inner teenager. We have an inner young adult, inner
adult. Yeah, as not only a young adult, but I would say an adult. Period. You know, I was 29 when I got married, and I was 43 when I left him finally and got a divorce.
But so you had this also, like, I was 25 when I got married, and no, actually I was 26 because I was 9 months pregnant. Okay, so we're recording, we're back. We had some technical difficulties. Again. So now we're trying the laptop video.
Yeah.
So let's see. We're trying to record this on a phone, and then the
there's not enough space.
I got full, and you're trying to erase all the stuff, and it doesn't work. So we're back a week later,
right?
And we were talking about the inner adult,
right?
And we kind of left off there. And I was just telling Yvonne, I'm like, yeah, it's over now.
Like, I know, like, we're over it. That was last week. Go on.
We dealt with that, you know. Our inner adult, and, you know, la la la. And I'm like, so like, we wanted to, you know, just didn't want to leave it there. With another, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes to record. And so now we're back, and we're like, hey, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, exactly. We have no clue.
So, like, we left off with the inner adult. Like, where you had said that your inner adult comes up and lets you know that you're not in the relationship with your ex anymore.
Right.
and that he was.
She also reminds me that I don't need to feel bad for me time.
That's nice.
You know,
Yeah.
because that's what we talked about before. Like you and I just heard. I used to always feel bad. You know, even if I would just I was at home and I would take time to do my nails or whatever. You know, it takes me about an hour to do my nails, right? I feel bad about it because I was always thinking, oh, I could have done this or I could have done that or like.
You mean like feeling bad because
for taking
you could,
time for me,
yeah, because
for myself.
you could have done something else.
Right, I could have done something else.
It took me actually a while, like also because of my like OCD, that like I couldn't lay down in bed and know that there was dishes laying out, and like I would just couldn't. I would just like it was in my head the whole time, and it took me a while to be like, it's just dishes. It was like, who's gonna walk in and see?
Right.
Nobody's, like it's just like
Be
whatever,
like
the
what do you call it? The dishwashing police is gonna come in the middle of the night,
they're gonna leave a
you're
note,
arrested because you didn't do your dishes. Yeah, I know.
Or like if I ask my daughter to clean out the dishwasher, and I tell her to kind of do it in a time frame and do it right now, because if somebody came in and was like, and you're doing something and they're like, can you go do this right now, and you're like, but I'm in the middle of something, like so I give her like a time frame, like, hey, I'm gonna be going out or whatever, can you get this done in this time so when I come home I can do the rest, because my OCD, I put the stuff in the dishwasher because it's like Tetris for adults. I love that. You're just like, so where can I fit? Get everything all fit in here, and you're like moving stuff around so you can like get one more dish in there. That's.
I thought maybe your phone rang. Sorry.
I'm waiting for a phone call.
I know, I was waiting for a phone call, so that's
to find out when I get my surgery tomorrow. Right. But so like I'll go in the kitchen and I'll see the dishes like there on it's still I'm like like I want to do it. I'm like I want to take out the dishes from the dishwasher so I can get the kitchen clean. And I'm like, no, I ask my daughter to, and she's going
it's
to.
her responsibility, and she'll get it done.
And
I mean, if you don't give her a time frame, then I get that. Yeah,
I do. I'm like, hey, I'm leaving. Can you please do this and this before I get home? And I think that was last Wednesday when I was at your house, and I'm gone for like how long?
Right.
Or was that something else? I know I was gone for a couple hours, and I was like, you have a couple, you have like, it's not like I'm gonna leave and 5 minutes later I come back or something.
Right, be like, you done yet? Dude, ooh, that would be my mom.
No,
like, what, you're not finished yet? Like, you just left, dude.
So like I have we're here at my apartment today.
Right. That's why we have a different setting. We changed studios.
Yeah. We're gonna like switch it up because you couldn't drive anyway. But I was sitting so long, but that would be cool. Like kind of switch it up. But like, so I have like things like here on my sideboards and stuff. Like if I'll be sitting here and I'm like, that's out of place, and I'll literally stand up and like. If even it's like half a freaking cinnamon, it doesn't matter. I'm like, okay, yeah, I feel better now.
Well, I'm the same way.
My picture frame's back there or something. I'll be like, oh no, I don't like. And then even if it's just like you just touch it and it moves, and you're like, oh yeah, I like that better. And I don't know if that's like.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be like.
I don't know. I'm the same way.
Are you?
Yeah.
I know, and I love it when you tell somebody and they're like, I get it, and you're like, okay, thank you.
I know.
Because my ex didn't.
Yeah.
He hated the fact that like, okay, we had a dog. And she shed a lot of hair.
Okay.
And I would vacuum at least 2 times a day. And he's like, it would be a Sunday or something. He like, can you leave that? I'm like, no, I can't. Like, there's hair all over the floor and it's irritating the hell out of me right now.
Right.
Like, I just need to vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, let me vacuum.
Right.
Like, I'm not asking you to. Like, it's the dog, like, I'll get
it's your dog, you better, yeah.
Like, I'll get out the vacuum and vacuum. I'm like, it's not like I'm making you do it. I'm doing it because, I want the hair gone, Like, let me be, like, you know. But, it's just something that I've had to learn over the years that I just leave the dishes. If I didn't what was that, yesterday? Yes, yesterday. I just didn't, I was out of energy. I didn't have any energy. The day before I tried to work out, the energy wasn't there. I'm like, I would usually push through it and be like, go, go, go. And
Right.
like, then why? Because, yesterday I just didn't have a lot of energy. And I'd be like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Because I just didn't have the energy to do anything. I left the dishes in the dishwasher. They just laid on the couch.
And the world didn't end.
No, it didn't.
Imagine that.
Yeah. But this is something I've learned over the years. Just it took. I mean, it was like a inner like fight in me. No, chill out. No, it was like it was going back and forth. No, get up, do it. No, chill. No, like in my head.
Right.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Right.
To where it was like every time I did it and every time I stopped or every time I said no or chill out or take a 5-minute break or something like that, like, and I think I said that in one of the earlier podcasts, like that's something that came from my childhood. You had to clean your room, you had to do your chores, you had to do your homework, you had to do this or this,
right.
and then you could go outside and play.
Right.
Then you could watch TV. Then you could like, now when we say relax, now you can do me time, because that would be like, as a kid, that was your me time, you know, going hanging out with friends, watching TV, whatever it is you wanted to do, you know. And I couldn't do any of that until my chores were done.
Right.
My homework was done. Things were done, and then somebody came and they're like, yeah, okay, you can go outside now. They looked to make sure everything was done.
Okay.
So you're going back to what you were saying, like you were waiting for your husband to come in and be like, that's not clean, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just, sitting there like, stuff everything in the closet, and you're like, look, it's clean! And your mom opens the closet door. And my mom would have been, she would go in, and if it wasn't to her liking, she'd make me do it all over again. And that's something I had to also rewire my brain to be like, not everybody cleans like you, not everybody cleans like me,
right?
Not everybody finds that if they clean their room, because it's my daughter's room, or my daughter's room's been like, back in the day when my oldest daughter lived with me, was their room,
right?
So they got to clean it how they thought it was clean, not how I thought it was clean.
Right. Yeah, I totally get that, because I know when my son was younger, like up until the teenage years, I finally got to where I would just like close the door to his room because I couldn't see it. As long as I couldn't see it, it wasn't a problem. You know what I mean? But if the door's open, I'd be like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, how could, no. Yeah. And I'd be like, I'm going to start throwing your shit away. And why?
I want to like go in there and start cleaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I got to where I'd be like, close the door. Close the door. Close the door. When you leave your room, close the door. Close the door. Yeah. It's like out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then I was good. And that was like one of the only ways that I was able to handle that, because I know, and we've talked often about, I didn't want to be like my mom.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like going there and, tirading and yelling and screaming and threatening and, why? I mean, I really wanted my child to have a childhood, which is what I didn't have for, all the reasons that we've talked about up until now. But yeah, and so that was my best solution to be able to deal with it and not go crazy. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm still, like you said, like with the dishes, if I know there's dishes in the sink, I'm not going to bed. I mean, I have to at least like rinse it out or put it in the dishwasher, or I cannot have anything in this. Yeah, it's stupid. I know.
No, but I know. But I get it. I get it.
When we go on vacation, I make sure all my laundry is done, because God forbid something happens to us and I die, and people come into my house and there's fucking laundry in the laundry basket. Imagine that. How fucking stupid
and
is
the
that,
people are going to be like, I can't believe it.
Oh my God. But you know why? That comes from, I actually knew someone who passed away very young, and when we went to her, she was a sister of one of my neighbors, and when we went to her apartment to start cleaning it, because her and her husband, they both mysteriously passed away, but anyway, so we went to the apartment to like start cleaning up the stuff. That was the first thing people started talking about. Oh my God, there's dishes in the dishwasher. Oh my God, there's clothes in the hamper. And I was like, dude, they just died. You know, like they left 3 young kids behind. Like, y'all don't have nothing better to do, but that stuck with me.
What,
somehow.
like, is your last thought when you got out of the house is, oh my gosh, I might die today and somebody's
like,
gonna
wait,
cry.
let me see if, she cleaned the wings.
That's
seriously?
but like that, like,
but that
yeah.
stuck with me
Yeah,
because
uh-huh.
at that I was in the relationship with my ex at the time, and we were still married, and that got in my head. We talk a lot about you let shit get in your head, or when you get in your head,
Yeah.
and I know it's stupid.
But
It's still something that I carry with me, and be like, okay, before we go on vacation, I got to make sure all the laundry's done, And my husband's looking at me like, we have enough clothes, and I'm like, no, it's not about, like something's missing, we need to pack. That's not it, yeah.
all I know is something like where somebody said his mom or his grandma that you have a clean pair of underwear on. There's something in case
Yeah, it's the same thing,
Same
right?
thing,
Like,
they-
make sure you have a clean pair of underwear when you travel, because if you have an accident, I'm like, motherfucker, if I have an accident, I'm probably gonna shit myself. So,
It's possible. Yeah.
like, they're probably not gonna be clean, but okay, whatever.
I don't know if I'm not good at laundry, but I do know like I will like, and it's like insane. Clean before you leave, but I'm like I want to come home from vacation to a messy house.
Right.
I don't want to walk through the door and be like, ugh,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
and they make like things are picked up, the dishes, like if you're leaving for a week or so, you make sure like stuff in the refrigerator isn't gonna go bad
Right.
or stuff like that. I don't know about laundry, but like just to make sure you don't walk in the house that it's not like when
Yeah, you walk into like total chaos, right?
yeah, like so like one of the things that is something that I just haven't been able to like I want to say let go of, I guess, is just my kitchen. I'm really, really picky. I make it when I come home. I'll leave most of the time I like to leave. My kitchen isn't like spotless, but it's clean,
Right.
to my liking. I'll leave, I'll come home.
And then you'll come home and your daughter's cook something.
When you don't live alone and
Yeah, of course.
and like so I'll come home and sometimes like I will get irritated and like throw shit around, smack thing in the kitchen because it irritates me to no end.
Right.
So when I leave and I come back, like it's not clean. But like if the kitchen is already messy and she leaves it, but like I feel like it's just so disrespectful when the kitchen was already clean to like have it clean again when you make
Right.
something.
Right.
It should be
But
picked up.
here's a good thing. One of these days she'll have her own house.
Yeah, and then I'll be sad that she's not there making messes.
No, then you go to her house and cook something and leave a mess, dude.
Good idea.
That's my
Like-
plan. I'm waiting till my son has his own place, man. I'll be like, oh,
Have you
yes,
seen
it's
those-
gonna be on,
Yeah.
man. I'm gonna be like those TikTok videos.
Videos,
Like,
yeah.
like you walk in, like take your
the
shoes off, throw your
shoes,
jacket,
yeah.
eat like some Cheetos on the couch here and be like, wiping your hair.
Just like all like
Dude, that's gonna be me.
yeah. I was laughing at those
I'll be
videos.
like, oh, you want me to make you some enchiladas? Enchiladas, mijo. Let me make, cause that makes a mess. Man. I'm like, oh, it's all. I'm making some enchiladas and some arroz and frijoles. Yeah.
Invite me over.
Homemade tortillas. There'll be flour everywhere, and then I'd be like, mijo, I said I was gonna cook. I didn't say I was gonna clean. Was it good?
Yeah.
Be like,
But,
so Jennifer and I gotta go. Bye.
I was just like, I'm actually because so my oldest daughter has left the nest, and so it's my youngest daughter, and there's actually days, and I also have a friend, and her kids are younger, and she's like, oh, thanks for that reminder, because I was like, yeah, like one day you're not gonna have that, one day they're gonna be gone, and she's like, thanks for reminding me that I should to enjoy the moment, enjoy that they're here, they have friends come over and she's cooking and she's doing, what you do when your kids' friends come over, and
Yeah.
she lives next door to like a place where they have a lot of like young kids and their neighbors, and they come over, and I'm like, sometimes like there are days when I'm like, I miss going to the playground. I miss, you know, when the other friends come over and you make them cookies and you do, you know, just the, you know, the mom things when the friends come over. Like, I mean, like, I'm happy it's over, but there are days when I miss it.
Oh, no. Last week, one of the days that I was walking alone when I walked through the Ala Hope by Mia, where I live. There were a couple moms with some little kids, and I mean, they were like toddlers, you know. And, you know, moms were like, you know, making sure the kids were okay. And, you know, the kids were like running around. And I was like, yeah, I remember those days. That was nice, you know. And then one of the kids fell down, started screaming. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad that's over with, you know. But I know what you mean. I mean, I think those are, especially I think for people like you and I, that we tried really hard to give our kids what we didn't have growing up, you know. I think that makes it even harder, or not harder is not the right word. But there's a more emotional tie that we miss that time that we had because we didn't have that with our mom or dad or, you know, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel. That's how I think about it. I know.
I'm
like,
gonna start crying now just because, like,
you know,
my father passed away last year, and I just felt like I don't even have any more time with him. You know,
right.
he's like not here anymore, and like so, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Same here.
So many things we have in common is crazy.
I know.
Like my dad passed away, and then I don't know, maybe even like was it 4 or 5 months later, and then your father passed away.
Your dad passed away in
February.
Well,
into January.
Yeah, into January, and my dad passed away in September last year.
Okay, so that was like,
so it was a little bit later, but still same year, you know, and yeah, you know.
And not being able to, well, you weren't able to go home because your father had some sort he doesn't want to be
he didn't want to be cremated, so they had to bury him within 24 hours of his death.
Well, no, but he didn't want to be preserved with whatever it is they do.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, you're
where they preserve a body,
embalming, or whatever they call it.
Yeah. He
didn't want to be preserved. Right. Like, that's why they had to bury him so quickly. Anyway,
get him in the ground real quick, so before the body starts decomposing.
Start stinking or decomposing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But like, so the next, for me, I feel like the next step is like grandkids. You know, they're gonna like. I mean, like my oldest daughter, she's gonna be 23 this year. My baby. Oh, your son's gonna be 23, or is he?
He's gonna be in June. He'll be 23.
Oh, okay. June, and mine is August.
Oh, okay.
Our kids are the same age too.
Yeah.
But like, you know, she talks about wanting to have kids and a family. I mean, right now, she's still young and still have time.
Right.
In the next maybe 3 or 4 years, and be a grandma. But I'm like, yeah, like that's for me. I feel like the next step, like to that, you know, to be a grandma.
I'm a step grandma.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
We have 3 grandkids and 1 on the way now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you get to spoil your grandkids, because like I think they say this.
Dude, that's always great, because the first thing so they know that my husband likes sweets, right? Or like chocolate, so they know he's always got candy somewhere. Sounds like the first thing they ask, you know, is like where the candy is, and I'm like, yeah, give them, you know,
so you get to,
I'm like, I don't care, I don't have to deal with them when they're all hyper.
Yeah, you get to spoil your grandkids, kind of, but like, of course, it's something you want to do with your kids, but you also have to teach them, you know, discipline or whatever it is. You know, you can't just like you're gonna grow up with the what's the word I'm looking for? You know, the only child syndrome, right? Because you give them like everything, you never say no, and then they're a brat, I guess, so to speak. But like, but you get to take your grandbabies, and then you're like, okay, here you go, bye, I'm going home now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know,
exactly.
or you know,
the nice thing about grandchildren is it's not your responsibility to raise them. It's the parent's responsibility. It's your responsibility to spoil them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
No.
And make sure when they get mad, they be like, I'm going to grandma and grandpa's, or, something like that. You know?
Like you see those memes on the TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and this baby is like on a phone, and it says like, Grandma, can you come pick me up? Your daughter's being a bitch, or
exactly.
Like she's crazy. She's like, come pick me up. Like, I want to get out of here. And like, yeah, but that's
things we have to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So I was just at the store with my younger daughter, and there was like you say, there's a little baby. Well, like, I don't know how old she was, maybe 1.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Baba, Baba. Like, she just, talking, and she said she went over there because she was looking in the aisle, and she kind of was like, playing around with her, like peekaboo or something like that. And the little girl was smiling at her, and she's like, I want a baby. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you like,
wait 10 years and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that could. It was 10 years. That she'd be 26.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, wait 10 years and then we'll talk about it.
That's true. 10 years. That would be a good. Yeah, but like, it was just the cutest thing. Mm-hmm. Babies are cute, and she's like, like, and you're like, okay, she's just talking, and I'm like, that's so cute. But then you're like, yeah, I get to go home now. Like,
exactly. I get to sleep tonight. I don't have to get up in the middle of the night or a couple times, or
I'm like, yeah, I get to.
My
I was
children,
like, you were once like that.
My children can go to the bathroom by themselves.
Yes. I just can't imagine, I think it was the age of 40 where I was like, if I met somebody and it was, the right fit, and it was like, okay, we could. I think then at the age of 45, I was like, yeah, like, no more. I don't want to have a kid at my age, just because it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have 2, so that's okay. I just know that there are women out there who don't even have, they've been trying for years and years and years, and they finally have one that got 48. That's just a different story for me.
Right.
Right. I already have 2, and I can imagine, like, my daughter, now, I mean, it's over for me anyway. Like, at 48, I'm not going to have another kid. Well, you just think about the age gap. Like, when I was 40, like, it was like, I mean, there's still people out there who have age gap of like 20 years, and they have like kid, and you're like, wow, it just happened. But no, thank you.
So the oldest granddaughter that my husband has, she is.
You said she was 14.
14 or 15. And she has a baby brother that is, I guess, going to be 2 this year. That's a big age gap.
Oh, yeah. But didn't he have her, like, at a young age, too?
Yeah.
The son, right?
Yeah, and the mom, the same thing. I mean, she's still young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they were 19 when they had her. So, she's still fairly young. But still, I'm like, damn. Like, she's a teenager. She's, going through puberty. And you got one going through puberty and one that's teething. Like, ooh, that's gotta suck, man. That just gotta suck. I don't know. But hey, I mean, they make it work. So, more power to them.
That's the youngest.
That's the middle son.
The middle one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The middle one has a 14-year-old. Yeah. Him and his girlfriend are expecting.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Ah, okay. So, it was the mother had another kid.
Right.
And now okay, so it's...
Yeah, they separated, she married.
And had another kid, and he's now having another kid, so she's going to have another sibling.
Right.
And she's 15, 14, 15.
Right.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, more power to them, And
I say they're still young. She's young.
Yeah, of course. They're young, and
or is it?
Yeah, well, I think he's gonna be
Is he 40 something?
no,
No, 30 something? 20 something.
36. Maybe,
Ah, okay.
36,
Yeah.
37.
Yeah.
His girlfriend's a little bit younger, so
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. We
So,
solved that.
yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that we talked enough to the end. I thought
We
didn't-
filled in the gap. That's basically
Yeah.
what we were trying
I
to do.
just didn't want to leave it at that.
Yeah, where we cut off last time.
Yeah.
And
just come back on, pop on, and be like, okay, that's it, bye.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
But,
For those of you that only listen, you're really lucky because you only have to, or you only deal with the audio. That's what I'm trying to say. I can't talk right now. For those of you watching at home, apologize that we've had so many technical difficulties, but you know.
yeah, there's actually one where the first half is gone.
The first half is gone. I think
Okay,
that's episode 10.
Somehow
the first half is I don't know. I probably deleted it. I mean, you know, let's be
somehow
honest.
got deleted and now it's not there.
now
But
it's
there
not
was
there.
also a hailstorm.
Right, there was a hailstorm, and that's really funny because so I was editing the video, and you can hear the hail on the window over the microphone. I was like, oh my god, I didn't think the microphone was that sensitive, man. It sounds like we're standing outside
Oh.
in like a major snowstorm or something. It's like,
Oh, wow,
it's
okay.
funny.
So that's we're having technical difficulties.
difficulties.
It's the hailstorm.
There you go.
Sorry, and it's like beep. Okay, so
Yeah.
then thanks for listening. As always, please leave a comment and go follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Leave us some love over there.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, and we will see you or hear you.
Right.
Well, we won't hear you, but you'll hear us.
You'll hear us
on the next episode.
There you go. Bye.
Bye.